Hey guys, it's Sarah, and I am here with another month for my album of books that I have read this year. And this is for the month of May. And I read not quite as many in May as I did in April. April was a huge month for me. I think I read 15 books or something. A lot of them were middle grade for one of my children's classes I was taking. This month, I still read. I think I read a couple of middle grade here, but not nearly as much, and I did read some more adult books, as you can see here. So I am going to go ahead and get all of these put down on the cards first with the numbers because I want to make sure I keep them in order that I read them, and then I will start decorating and writing and all that stuff. So I've already stamped out my numbers, as you can see on the open book stamp that I had done when I first started this album. And I just stamped out all the numbers. And then I have already picked out my cards, as you can see as well. I do that off camera just because it does take me a while to find, the cards to go with the book covers and then a coordinating journal card as well. It does take me a little bit of time. So I just kind of turn on a TV show and grab my pictures and, sit and do that off camera. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started here. So the first one here is Wondersmith, and this is by Jessica Townsend. This is book number 2 in her Nevermore series. Book number 1 is called Nevermore, which I read earlier this year, and I absolutely loved it. It is a middle grade series. It gives me a lot of Harry Potter vibes, and it's just completely magical, and I absolutely loved it. And it's a series that, I'm ready for book number 3, which comes out in March, and I'm going to be pre-ordering it and probably reading it right away. It's just one of those series that I know I'm going to love. And my daughter Kaylin read Nevermore as well, and she really loved it. She hasn't read Wondersmith yet, but she wants to, so we're both getting into it. Now, I picked a cat face. I went ahead and took advantage of that because there is a large cat that is a character in this book, and she's actually one of my favorite characters. So I'm going to go ahead and put this cat face on there, and then I put the number 2 ticket there too, and I cut off the numbers on the bottom because this is book number 2 in a series, so I wanted to go ahead and highlight that as well. And I'm using my star stamp. And I'm going to fill it in because I did give this book 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. It was a great continuation of the series, like a great second installment of the book. And yeah, I really loved it. I loved it a lot. It was a lot of fun to read, and I can't wait to read number 3, like I said. Okay, so there is that one. Now I'm going to grab, I believe, some enamel dots to add to this as well, because I want something else up in that upper right-hand corner. So I'm going to go through my enamel dots and find a color that I think is going to coordinate well. And I'm looking at the blues and stuff on the book cover. So I think I'm going to go with blue. And I have that one in mind. I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything. I'm trying to get rid of some of the packages that I have that I'm just getting really low on. So, yeah, getting low on a few little things. But, all right, so I'm going to go ahead and put these down. And then that is going to complete the card for Wondersmith. And it is going to go in this 4x6. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a little scrap and put them directly next to each other. So it looks like a 4x6 card almost. All right, next one is Moby Dick. Yep, I read Moby Dick. Can you believe it? Did not enjoy it. As you can see, I only gave it 2 stars. I listened to this one on audio, and it was interesting because, I don't know, I was able to follow it no problem, but it was so long, unnecessarily long. I enjoyed the parts where the whale was actually present and they were, really like dealing with the whale, but that wasn't present a whole lot throughout the book. And a lot of it was just, weird things, like they were talking about things that had nothing to do with the story or the characters. And I was like, why are we talking about this? It doesn't make any sense to the story. It doesn't help the story move along at all. And I don't know. So I didn't like very much of it. The part where the whale was, I really did enjoy those parts. And it was well written. So it wasn't, I couldn't understand the writing. I could definitely understand the writing. But yeah, just not my favorite. It was pretty boring. So I gave that one 2 stars. On the Come Up by Angie Thomas is next, and this one I really enjoyed. And this one follows a young girl who wants to be a rap artist, and she creates this song, this rap song based on an experience that she had. And she gets a lot of negative feedback because of it, because of the way she presented herself, the way she presented the situation. And she's kind of having to deal with other people's reactions to her art, basically. And I really enjoyed it. However, I did knock off a star because I really didn't like the main character that much. I didn't feel like she took responsibility for her actions very well. And I don't feel like she learned from things that were happening because of her actions, the consequences of her actions. She wasn't really learning from them. She liked to blame other people. So that I didn't love. So I did knock off a star for that, but I did really like the writing a lot. And I thought that the story was very interesting and very relevant. And I will definitely want to read more from Angie Thomas for sure. This is the first book of hers I've read. And so I did give it 4 stars. It was good. And I listened to the audiobook, which I'm glad I did because there is rap music in here. And if I was trying to rap in my head, that would have just been ridiculous. So I appreciated being able to listen to that versus like white girl Sarah trying to rap. No, that nobody wants to experience that. So it was good. I really did like it. So I put a little banner down there that says "Tell Your Story," which is, what her song was doing. It was telling a story of something that she experienced. And then I did a hashtag on top of that and an Instagram camera because, she was very much into the social media thing. And that's how she kind of got recognized a lot and, used that to build her brand and stuff. So I felt like that was all pretty relevant for that book. So there's that one. Oh, the next one, The Honeymooners by Christina Lauren. Oh my goodness, did I love this book. Okay, so I have a stamp here that says, couldn't put this down, and I'm going to stamp that over the heart that's on the top of the journaling card because I could not put this book down. It is so great. Christina Lauren is definitely becoming one of my favorite authors. It's a writing duo. They're 2 best friends who write books together, and they have quite a few books that they've written, and I've loved every single one that I've read from them so far, and I want to read more. Like, I just love, love, love them. This book follows a man and a woman who are the maid of honor and the best man at a wedding. And they can't stand each other. Like, just, they've never hit it off. They don't like each other at all. And something happens at the wedding reception where everybody except for them gets food poisoning, like debilitating food poisoning. And the bride, who is the sister of our main character, says, you need to go on this honeymoon because it's paid for and I'm not going to lose out, this, honeymoon. So you need to go in our place. You 2 need to go and take this honeymoon for us, please. So they're kind of forced to go on this honeymoon, even though they hate each other, but they have to act like they're married so that, everyone thinks it's their honeymoon. And they don't want to get in trouble for taking someone else's honeymoon. And it's just so good. So, so, so good. Again, I couldn't put it down. I flew through it and I loved the characters. The humor, it was on point. It was just so great. So definitely recommend that one. It's fantastic. Loved it. And obviously gave it 5 stars. Okay, so the next one was Gillian Flynn. I read Dark Places, which is the last book from Gillian Flynn that I had on my shelves to read. I have now read all of her work and I need more. She is one of my favorite authors for sure. I've loved everything that she's written. She writes very dark things, which I tend to really enjoy, and this was no exception. So this one follows a woman who went through a pretty traumatic event in her childhood where her brother brutally killed her entire family except for her. And he is in jail serving his time. However, there's a lot of conspiracy theories about, him like thinking he didn't do this. He's been wrongfully jailed, and her testimony is what actually put him in jail. But now she's starting to doubt whether or not her testimony was correct because she was a young girl when this happened. So she's starting to doubt whether or not her memories are correct and if he really did this or not. And so you see her go through the process of trying to figure out exactly what really did happen as an adult. And I grabbed that tree because there is a tree that's in here that's pretty relevant to the story and meaningful. And then the PS with the envelope was interesting because there was a lot of letter correspondence in it as well. So I thought that all just fit nicely, with what's actually inside the book. So there is that one. And then the last one that I read was Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor. This is book number 2 in her Strange the Dreamer series. And it's the last one of that. So there's only 2 as far as I know. Now I grabbed this really large moth because a moth is a big aspect of that story. It plays a big role in it. I won't tell you how, but there is definitely, moths present, and there's reasons why. So I thought I used the excuse to be able to use that finally. And then I had that silver outline of a cloud that I just put over the dream. And dreams are actually a big part of it as well. So it's all pretty relevant here. But it was a great follow-up to the first book. I loved the first book. The second one wasn't quite as magical as the first book, so that's why I only gave it 4 stars. But I really, really loved that duology, and it was fantastic. So that's one that I definitely recommend if you like fantasy books. That's what those are. And that is going to be it for what I read in the month of May. So here's a look at the cards, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know if you have any questions at all, and I will see you again soon. Have a great day. Bye.